I can just tell you what I've done in the past with working on the Hill. I spent a lot of my personal time at GoDaddy actually developing policy for the internet. And I was in Washington about a week a month working with members of Congress to try to come up with thoughtful policy. And the way I've done it successfully in the past is just find groups of people that are members and find things about which they can agree. And sometimes even people who are completely diabolically opposed on policy positions can find things to agree about when they're making good policy by taking partisanship out of it. So that's how I have done it in the past with working with legislatures. I think it's important to acknowledge, though, that in this state, there's an absence of leadership in the legislature. And it's not because they're not good people. There are some great people in the state legislature, good-hearted, community-minded citizen representatives who go to the legislature for right reasons. And they go there because they want to make a difference in their local community on one issue or another. But best I can tell, there's not somebody there who takes all of the legislators into a room, even the leadership, and says, for this 100 days of our legislative session, these are our goals, this is our agenda, this is our policy mission, and this is what we're going to get done. And when you don't have leadership, you have this sort of vacuum, something will fill it. Something will rise up, and you end up with lots of bunny trails, you end up with lots of winds of doctrine, and so I think the most important thing to fix the deficit or any other issue is to have leadership that says, here's our goal, here's where we want to get to. If that goal today is to fix the structural deficit, all right, we know we have two levers. We all run a balance sheet, we all run an income statement. We have two things we can fix: revenue or expense. Those are our levers, right? And now I know the legislature don't know that, clearly, because they've had a hard time figuring this out and getting to the bottom line. But if you think you have a structural deficit, and by that I'm assuming you mean even though we're balancing the budget, quote unquote balancing the budget, we still have some obligation that we have to spend that we can't figure out the revenue source for. That's what you're talking about? We have two choices. We can make more money or we can spend less money. Those are our two choices. This is not that hard, okay? What's hard is that when you're spending and you have to take money away, there's people involved. That's tough. But working with the legislature and getting to the answer is something that I've been very fortunate to do well in the past. Importantly, and this may be the single biggest change we could make in this state to be more thoughtful about this, our Appropriations Committee gets together and discusses the budget kind of holistically. You see what they've been doing at the last couple of weeks. The subcommittees of the Appropriations Committee don't get together and have hearings. They don't hear from the JLBC, they don't hear from the agency directors, they don't hear from the governor's office like they used to. So it used to be just like you'd go in for a hearing and you'd have 3 witnesses testifying and they'd say, okay, I need X number of dollars and here's why. And the budget committee would say, we think it should be Y number of dollars and here's why. And the governor's office would say, we think it needs to be Z. And the committee members would actually have a thoughtful discussion about this. They don't do that anymore. I think we really should be having that conversation. Also, importantly, if the budget, which to my mind is one of the single most important things that the legislature does every session, is going to continue to be negotiated in the manner that it is, we ought to give it more than a day to figure out. This notion of waiting until the last possible minute and then trying to shove it through in a day is very puzzling to me. They're talking about spending a lot of your money, and it is, by the way, your money. If we're going to spend $9 billion of your money, well, I think we should do it in a more thoughtful manner. I really do. By the way, I think we should spend less, but that's a whole other issue for another time.